Good afternoon and welcome to Fenton, Missouri for this afternoon's USL Championship match. Two unbeaten teams, second and third in the Eastern Conference, get set to take center stage right here, right now. Today's match is brought to you by the Cheshire Inn. It's Poppy Miller alongside ex-German pro Devin Kerr. We're absolutely thrilled to have you joining us for what's gearing up to be a fantastic match. And for the Rowdies, a completely different side to what we saw last season, a much younger roster with new firepower up top.
Poppy, all of those pickups immediately making an impact on their squad for Neil Collins and the Rowdies. Let's take a look at last week versus the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Bob Lilly and his squad, defensive stalwarts in the past. They really struggled with the transition game that the Rowdies were able to press on them. Sean Berry got involved in the 26 minutes. He's one of those new additions. And then he also got involved on the supportive side of things. Great ball played into Steinberger. Steinberger would put icing on the cake in the 86th minute. All of it was due to a bit of a time warp here. You're looking at a squad that over 30 years of age last year in the starting 11. They've now transitioned into right around the 26, 27-year-old mark, and you better believe that that jump in age gap has really pushed them to new heights. You'll really see a much faster paced game. Neil Collins has structured this club appropriately, and they are ready to go 3-0.
And for St. Louis, also off to a flying start, as you can see there, especially for a team that's never opened a season with a win, and a new face on the score sheet recently for Anthony Pulis.
Anthony Pulis, no slouch himself on the defensive side of things. He likes to talk about composition, how they want to remain compact and dictate the game. Said that we really struggled with that last year, especially in the final third. What does he do? Goes out, gets some big names of his own, and their offensive talent has been great in the first two games, especially when you take on the likes of Nashville and Indy 11. Caleb Calvert coming over from the Charlotte Independents really has a nice big frame and big body for some of his offseason acquisitions to help in the offensive third.
Well, another player that we want to keep our eye on, brought to you tonight by Slicer, it's Russell Cicerone.
Cicerone is one of the reasons that they are 2-0 to start this season. Never happened in club history before. They're going to look to make it 3. Pulis started him on the left side versus Indy 11. He was touch and go at times, had some great opportunities, but it really wasn't a full match. In step versus Nashville, moves him over to the right. Great two-way player in this game. Did a good job blocking down Cameron Lancaster and Carlton Belmar. Was brought off right around the 70th minute. That led way for Dakers to step in. Helped on the supporting side to get the winning goal on the road. Great start for both squads.
Well, they're the ones to watch. Now let's see who will lace up. Stay with us. We'll have a look at starting lineups and kickoff. Back in a mo.
This year we developed Ale d'Or, which is a beer brewed exclusively for the St. Louis Football Club. We've been partners with STLC for coming up on 3 years now. St. Louis Football Club got some Schlafly, call out our Luligan friends on the side. You'll be able to find Ale d'Or obviously out at Soccer Park and then at your local grocery in and around St. Louis, so we're really excited to get it out there in the market. We're excited to debut it in 16-ounce cans for the upcoming season.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to the electricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
A lottery ticket is so much more than a piece of paper. It's wonder, opportunity, dreams. And not just for players. 100% of the profits from every Missouri lottery ticket you play goes back to schools, teachers, and students. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery.
Tonight, St. Louis FC Academy Spotlight player is Souley Moussa. Souley arrived in St. Louis when he was just 10 years old. He played in men's rec leagues and pickup games, but did not join a club until his under-18 season. It's hard to imagine a player with such raw talent did not play club soccer until just 2 years ago. But that's exactly what this young man did. Souley plans to continue developing his attributes and will likely move on to play Division I college soccer. Souley Moussa is tonight's St. Louis FC Academy Spotlight.
Welcome back to Fenton, Missouri. Today's match is presented by Dobbs. Poppy Miller alongside Devin Kerr. We are just about ready for kickoff, but first let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Dobbs. And what do you see for Neil Collins' side, Devin?
The Rowdies are all about composition, and in the past we've seen them go in transition, they go fast, and it's been impressive. But on the defensive side of things, it's too up and down. You take a look at their goal differential in 2018, even. Nobody at even or below, except for one team, made the playoffs. So they have to find a way to start to distance that gap. The front five will start to push things with pace. On the defensive side of things for St. Louis, that's where they've been at the best so far, but their offensive production has really struggled. First two games hasn't really been the case. They've really taken other teams to the toe of the line. But now what do? You've got Rivas out on international duty. Dakers is going to step in. The 1-2 punch on the outside wings is the keyest factor, pushing the ball up top to the likes of Caleb Calvert, and Albert Dequa.
Well, that's Anthony Pulis' selection presented by Dobbs. Let's take a look at today's keys to the game.
Everything for both squads. Complacency. Anthony Pulis telling us that great 2-0 start, but it is only 2 games in. Don't want to believe the hype. A lot of press around them. Just maintain composure, keep doing their thing. And the Rowdies goes back to the offensive side of things. Push the tempo. Everything in the first 2 weeks that they've had success with has been going in transition, going fast. They've been clinical in it. They'll look to replicate again this afternoon.
Well, we mentioned a player for either side out on international duty, but let's quickly take a look at today's injury report presented by Proactive Chiropractic.
Mike Johnson with that separated shoulder, unfortunately not able to make the trip. And how about St. Louis? How many times last year did we see them? 3, 4, 5 guys on that list. Anthony Pulis happy that he's got a nice deep roster, bunch of toys to play with.
Live to the whistle from Izmir Pekmik, and we are away from Missouri. St. Louis at the back. And there we see first touches on the ball for Jake Fenlerson. Well, 2 teams, like we mentioned in the pregame, off to an absolute flying start. One of these teams is going to have to give today, Devin.
Yeah, 4 so far in the USL Championship this year have gone unbeaten. 3 in the Eastern Conference, one of which is not going to be active today. That's North Carolina FC. And these 2 juggernauts, 2-0 to start the season. Done well. To be fair, St. Louis had the tougher schedule, started the season versus Indy 11, and Martin Rennie's squad did great there, and then went on the road. The likes of Cameron Lancaster, Carlton Belmar, Gary Smith's squad in Nashville FC. So 2 great victories. Tampa Bay didn't slouch themselves at either. I was very impressed with how they were able to handle themselves versus the Riverhounds last week, but you were at home at Al Lang. Now you have to go on the road versus a very formidable foe. How are you going to respond?
Oscar Umar, unorthodox from him in the middle of the park. St. Louis looking to keep the possession all the way back to Jake Fenlerson, who's got off to a flying start this season. Fenlerson taking his time out the back, opts to go to his centre back, the captain tonight, Sam Fink. Lofty ball up. Aerial balls in the middle of the park, both teams struggling to bring it down. St. Louis put it on the deck. Caleb Calvert starting tonight. Cicerone now into the box. Still battling just outside. And Denfeo comes up to help his side, and out from Tampa.
And Papa, we said in the lineups that it was going to be about the outside players in the midfield for Anthony Pulis and St. Louis FC. There's a good representation. Russell Cicerone giving the Rowdies a taste of their own medicine, going quick in transition, just lacking that final touch. And, you know, that's really what 2018 was about. They could move the ball, great defensive unit. They would push 60, 70% down the field, but just lacking the finesse in the final third. Couldn't come about with a lot of goals and had to play from behind a lot. This year, Pulis said he really wants to take the game to the opposition. They've been very good in the first 2 games.
Here they are on with the possession in the early going. Parrish G out the back, switches the flank, trying to feed Cicerone into the attack. It's going to be a throw-in for the home side. And talking of St. Louis' side that's dominantly very strong at home, Tampa Bay Rowdies typically not that great on the road, but of course a brand new season for them.
Take a look at 16, 17, and 18. Averaging only 4 wins over the course of those 3 seasons. That is not a recipe for success. You have to find a way to steal points on the road. And they really felt like when the new era of Neil Collins stepped in, that immediately an impact would be had. He steadied the ship at home, but still results hard to come by when they did go on the road. But that goes back to the change in the age group as well. You get guys, priorities are a bit different when you're 23, 24 years old as opposed to, with all due respect, Joe Cole and Rowdies, where 35, 36, your mentality's a bit different. The road transition, much easier for the youngsters to handle. We've seen that so far from Neil Collins and his group.
Fernandez forced back. Tarek Morad as part of the trio at the back for Neil Collins. Dekite all the way home to McCarthy. McCarthy opts for the long ball forward, plucked out the sky from Paris G. Dekite, a real mainstay. His second season with Tampa, started all 15 of the 15 games he appeared in last season for Neil Collins. Has experience playing overseas, both in Thailand and Belgium. And that's something that we'll see from both these sides, a wealth of experience. Here's St. Louis trying to get on the front foot. Dakers. Oscar Umar patrol in the middle tonight. Kavita. St. Louis just possessing in their own half, trying to build in the attack. You can hear the shout down below from Anthony Pulis. Well, if his name sounds familiar, it should. His father, Tony Pulis, has managed several big clubs in England, including Stoke City, Crystal Palace, West Brom, and currently with Middlesbrough. Here's Dakers. Back to Umar, switches flanks. Good take on the far side. Camden Feo still dribbling in. Could this be a chance? Caleb Calvert gets one across. It hits the side of the post. Tell you what, Devon, that came out of nowhere. Paris G looking to recycle. Dakers picks up the second ball, leads to the top of the box. Tampa safety in numbers, forcing them back. Fink across to Hilton. St. Louis just trying to work it down the opposite flank. Here's the Canadian. Looking to work it into the top of the box. It's still Paris G and just runs out of space at the back. John McCarthy to the rescue.
Yeah, well done by Leo Fernandez. Shielding off here in the overlapping run by Paris G. I like the initial look. Camden Feo, how about right in front of him? Great touch, gets to the byline. Needs to release it a bit earlier. That last touch allows the defender to slide over. And then Caleb Calvert, watch the angle on this one. Quick little chip in. McCarthy can't get an arm on it, right off the woodwork. Had the trailing runs as well. That's good stuff from St. Louis early on.
Well, we mentioned Caleb Calvert likes to be that last man hanging up top. He did well to keep that in there. In his first season with St. Louis, scored against Nashville, his first goal since March of 2018. He'll be really looking to keep that run going.
There's Calvert embracing one of his old teammates, Jan Ekra. You know, Calvert was with the Colorado Rapids, spent a lot of time on loan with the Charlotte Independents. Nice to see those two back together.
Anthony Pulis on your screen there in his second season with St. Louis, as is Neil Collins with the Rowdies. And you managed to have a chance to catch up with Anthony Pulis earlier this week, Devon.
He's an interesting one. He's so blunt about his answers, and he's very polite about them, but he's the type of manager that comes in not overly aggressive about it, but very family-oriented. I want to do it my way. These are the ways that I want to go this direction. And he's smart because not only has he got the organization to buy into it, his players. That's the biggest thing. You look at the locker room, tight-knit unit, much like we referenced earlier with Neil Collins and his squad, and just their ability to navigate troubled waters. The stretch of the end of 2018 and how they were able to stick together as a band of brothers and then go out in the offseason, pick up some big names in the likes of Caleb Calvert, Joaquin Rivas, Oscar Umar, all players that will have immediate impact. It's really proving fruitful for them so far.
Brandon Allen leaves the ball there for Leo Fernandez. Trying to get numbers into the attack. Fernandez in his third season with Tampa, started both games so far this season. Here's Guenzati, combines with Steinberger. Fernandez down on the flank, can he whip one into the box? Here he is, takes it to the byline, straight across, no one home at the back post, straight through.
Notice how quickly they went in transition there, Poppy. Starting on the quick throw, just push it to the end line, quick rail run by Fernandez. Playing on that left side in that wing back position he's become so accustomed to. Remember, we talked about the youth movement and how the overall age has dropped from 31 to right around 26. They do only have 2 returning starters from the 2018 season. Now, they had some midseason acquisitions in the likes of Dominic Oduro, Tarek Morad, and Diakite, but only 2 from the start of last year, so they had to gel quickly in the offseason. Collins liked what he sees so far.
Fernandez with 3 goals, 3 assists on the season last year. Really does well working down that flank and dropping dangerous balls into the box. Here's Tarek Morad. Opts for Fernandez again. Into the middle of the park. Oduro takes the strike. No worries at the back for Jake Fenlerson. Jake Fenlerson, of course, the only goalkeeper in the USL Championship to start with 2 clean sheets. Sorry, John McCarthy to start with 2 clean sheets in the season so far. But for Jake Fenlerson, done well to earn his starting position.
2017 finishes with the Rochester Rhinos. Anthony Pulis goes out, gets Tomas Gomez. Gomez picks up an injury, has to go through surgery on the hip tear. Fenlerson steps in, did well. And the 2 of them really battled during midseason. Gomez eventually winning the part out and taking his club into the playoffs. At the beginning of this year, Poppy, he told us, Fenlerson really run this, had a great preseason, didn't allow any goals. So Anthony Pulis allowing him to progress here, giving him the nod.
Breakdown in the middle of the park. Jon Ekra looking for Brandon Allen up top. Brandon Allen, a bit of a journeyman, as is Zach Steinberger for the Rowdies. Spent last season split between Indy 11 and North Carolina FC, looking to find a home for Neil Collins' side. 10 minutes played here. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Umar, the Ghanaian midfield, leads 1 into the attack. Back to Paris G. All the way across to the other flank. Here's Camden Feo. Good ball up top. Cicerone's there, drops 1 in. Away out the back from Tampa. Paris G again busy getting up into the attack tonight. This afternoon, rather. Here's Dakers. An early kick-off, the first USL Championship match of today. Some great matches coming to follow, but you've got to say this is one of the most anticipated matches of the weekend. Here's Dakers, creates an opportunity for himself just wide of the target.
Gives you an idea of how different it is in the final third for St. Louis FC. Much cleaner, quicker touches. The ball has to cycle in and out fast. The Rowdies back line of 3, very experienced. And when you have the wing-back positions that tuck in like that, it makes it so difficult to open up the space because they become compressed on the back line. Nice little touch in, challenge McCarthy on the near post, and that's what you have to do. Keep John McCarthy guessing. He's been so well in the first 2 games, you have to continuously push pressure on him, make him guess and go which way.
Kadeem Dakers off to a fantastic start. His second season with St. Louis, led St. Louis in pre-season with 3 goals. Came on, of course, as a substitute in the match against Nashville last week. Started 19 of the 28 games he appeared in last season. St. Louis looking for a spell of possession out the back. Kavita. Across the back, here's Fink. Direct ball up to the top. Dakers. Lofty ball, got caught in 2 minds there.
He had the idea. Cicerone tracking on the back post. Dakers brought it inside, and that's the guessing game, though. Just moments ago, brings it in on his left, has a go at goal. This time brings it inside. Most people expecting him to transition over to the left foot and maybe have another go instead. Wants to put the ball on the back post. Lacking execution a bit, but good thought process.
Here's Fernandez battling on this near side. Referee Ismir Pekmik gives a free kick to the home side. Just out looking on below, Anthony Pulis below. Fink. Good switch from the centre back. And again, they've been looking for that direct ball down the flank quite a bit so far, Devon.
Not surprising, it's coming from the likes of Oscar Umar and Lewis Hilton as well. They'll spray balls all over the pitch. It's that quick 30-yard ball, 40-yard ball that you can really take advantage of. Something cycling in out, and you push it down into the corner. Just like we saw moments ago, this is the ball to the sideline where Dakers gets rocked right in front of the fourth official. Not an easy one to get away with. But when you have this tight-knit unit in the back, Tampa Bay Rowdies, the three sit very close together, and their wingbacks will want to push in transition quickly, but they have to go on double duty. Push up high and then work their way back. So when you do take possession of the ball, one quick ball down into the corner, allow your outside midfielders to start exploring the final third. Good idea for those guys pushing in.
Good pressure from St. Louis to keep the ball. Lost in possession. Here's Brandon Allen. A lofty ball up top looking for Steinberger. The chase is on, and safety first out the back. Here's Tampa across the box. Brandon Allen just sat in a bit too short. Jake Fenderson just giving direction to his team. 15 minutes almost played here in St. Louis. High pressure from the Rowdies. Here's Steinberger. A good ball looking for Allen, taken off his feet by Dakite. The Rowdies really starting to pick up a bit of wind behind their sails. Here's Tarek Murad, out wide, Leo Fernandez. Just runs out of space. Leo Fernandez on your screen there. Well, Devon, what's your thoughts so far?
Not surprising, you've seen more composure from the home squad. They're going to be comfortable not having to go through all the variables on the road. So they feel more comfortable. You can see them working the ball a bit more, feeling at home, trying to challenge down in the channels and the likes of Cicerone and Dakers. Some decent overlapping runs, but only really the one chance that was makeshift off Caleb Calvert. The visitors, on the other hand, willing to sit back a bit more and kind of pick and prod at their places where they want to push into the offensive third. When they have gone, it's been impressive in transition, but those opportunities are probably going to be a bit less than what you're going to see from the home squad, but that's where they excel. At certain times, they'll lull you to sleep, and then boom, real quick, go the other direction, nip you in the bud.
Free kick out the back. Fernandez with the foul. Here's the captain, Sam Fink. Opts to go back to Fenderson. 5 clean sheets on the season in 2018. 1 clean sheet so far this season for the home side. Here's Murad. Spent time with Louisville for 2 seasons in 2015. Was a champion with them in 2017. A lot of experience on this Rowdy side. Fernandez takes his space into the box. Dispossessed, looking for Allen. And could this be a chance for St. Louis to hit on the counter? Pace up top. Caleb Calvert is in the box. Can they find the delivery to him? Good defending by the Rowdies there. Just diffusing the situation. McCarthy opts for safety. Umar combines with Paris G. Cicerone over on the far side. St. Louis have the numbers and do enough to win the throw. Here's Cicerone now. Again, another throw for the home side. Just really trying to create and make something of these opportunities they're building in the final third.
Some of the first touches have been poor quality. Just a second ago, ball comes across. Quick ball from Oscar Umar trying to change play, moving from right to left, and Camden Feo just couldn't take possession of it quick enough and allowed Caleb Richards on the right side to just push up. And remember, Caleb Richards, if you're just joining us, playing left back for the Tampa Bay Rowdies first 2 games. Sean Berry on international duty with Puerto Rico. He switches out, so Neil Collins has had to shift some pieces around. A couple guys out of their norm a bit, at least compared to the 2019 season.
The foul on the far side. This looks like it'll bring up a chance for Lewis Hilton, really the set-piece magician, to step up over the dead ball. Guenzotti there, the captain for Neil Collins' side, just having a word with the referee. And St. Louis really have managed to capitalize on set pieces so far this season.
They've been great. St. Louis in the Eastern Conference, Tulsa Roughnecks in the Western Conference. They've now scored 5 of their 7 goals from set piece and dead ball situations. There's a good look at Oscar Umar and Lewis Hilton, Kenan Feo waving the tacticians from the sideline come over and take a look, and it's something that they do take pride in. Anthony Pule is telling us they do spend a bit more than other squads normally would in dead ball situations. Just 20 minutes in, a couple opportunities, but again, it's really posturing, the two squads trying to find their form here, and it's so difficult. Beautiful weather out, and just can't really find a perfect flow so far.
Let's take another look at this. What do you think here, Devin?
Yeah, it's a bad touch from Umar. He tries to step in a bit, and Seba gets stuck in behind him. Guenzotti has been shifting back a bit further, allowing Brandon Allen to be the lone gunman up top. And you can just see swipes through the first one, and then Kenan Feo again on the second.
Oscar Umar looking to be in a bit of pain with his ankle there. See if he is able to continue. It's going to be a free kick for the home side nonetheless. Lewis Hilton over the dead ball, 6 assists, 3 goals in 2018. And he's the one that you want over it. He's got Kenan Feo with him. I'm pretty sure that Hilton will deliver one into the box.
Some extracurriculars going on in the box. Poppy and I went at it before the game too, just pushing each other, figuring out what side of the broadcast booth. I let her have the chair.
Here we go with the delivery. It's the Englishman. There we can just see some pushing and shoving going on in the box there out the back. Dakite going at it with Sam Fink. Looks like we're about ready to go now. Sides being separated in the box. Here comes the delivery from Hilton. Away by the first man. Over the top. And there's Peckmick giving a free kick to the Rowdies. Let's see if he keeps his cards in his pocket here. What do you think of that one, Devin?
And the 2 number 13s doing battle in the middle of the field. Kadeem Daker is not the biggest of stature, and that dead ball allowed the likes of Fenwell, Kavita, and Sam Fink to make their way up. Kadeem Daker is just trying to challenge the 50-50 to not allow the Rowdies to counter. Gets a bit aggressive, comes right up over the back at Guenzotti, and he's going to be rewarded with a yellow card for his efforts.
Kavita is in the books in the 21st minute for St. Louis. We'll have another look at that. Up against Guenzotti, straight over the top of him, right under the referee's nose. See confirmation of that yellow card as we get back underway from Fenton, Missouri. Like you said, fantastic conditions tonight to play football in. The St. Louligans out in numbers in the stands around us. A fantastic sport group in St. Louis. Here's Fernandez in the box. Just runs out of space. Can St. Louis hit on the counter? Slowed up. Guenzotti playing deep. Brought down in the midfield. And he's going to have to be careful now, Kavita.
Dakers has to be very careful. Picking up the yellow card just moments ago and now getting stuck in again. If you're a Rowdies fan, and more importantly, if you're Neil Collins, you want to go at him. Get a look at Leo Fernandez. You want to balance the attack between Richards and Fernandez coming in that wingback position. But now you've got an outside midfielder sitting on a yellow card just 23 minutes into a game. Find a way to challenge him. See if you can pick him off and pick up another card.
Could be a long night for him. Here's a set-piece opportunity for the Rowdies. Steinberger, good delivery. And that one will work its way out for a corner. All corner kicks tonight presented by Electro Savings. And let's see if the Rowdies can create something with this opportunity. Leo Fernandez will trot across to whip in an in-swinger from the far side.
Remember, they were able to grab one last week versus the Riverhounds from the corner. Leo Fernandez swung a great ball in, eventually made its way out to the top where Sean Berry was able to put one away. Another chance for, just like St. Louis, the Rowdies to get their big guys up top. See if you can float something in. You want it right in between the 6 and the penalty mark. Just go after it.
Here's Fernandez. It's a good ball in, patted away and secured to safety from St. Louis. The danger isn't over. The recycle is there. And no worries for Jake Fenlerson out of the back.
Not bad service at all, is it? It's coming. Oh, it's an in-swinger. It's coming a bit away from Jake Fenlerson, but it's good goalkeeping. Game of the week, we actually had some questionable decision-making by those goalkeepers, but Fenlerson does well, comes off his line, wins the ball.
We spoke about Fenlerson already, but you've got to say he's had a fantastic start to this season. Some great saves against Nashville, and then, of course, denying Dane Kelly from the penalty spot.
And that was one of your old acquaintances getting involved in that game, Poppy. Fenlerson initially from the penalty mark, and then when it cycled back around, Hackshaw on the back post. Used to rep the Battery colors, I heard.
Neville Hackshaw, a legend for the Charleston Battery. There's Fernandez, just very frustrated with that decision. Steinberger stepping in there. Well, you've got to say a couple of set-piece opportunities in this past 10 minutes for either side.
This is very aggressive by Fernandez, and you actually don't mind the first challenge when he comes through and gets the ball, but he follows through. And the referee's saying that Dakers had established position, gave him the high ground. That's why the referee blows the whistle here. And spot on, cue it up. Lewis Hilton this time, an outswinger. Kendon Feo standing next to him, but again, the big guys from the back line coming up to try and influence this match.
Here comes the delivery from Hilton, straight into a dangerous position. And there we go, St. Louis kick off the scoring, and it's the captain, Sam Fink.
Well, why not? Lewis Hilton, a magician over the ball and run of play, and even deadlier from set-piece situations. Serves this one on a platter. And we talked about the big guys. You want to bring up Kavita at 6'1", Sam Fink at 6'2"? Let's just put it right on his foot. Doesn't go with the foot, goes to ground. Diving header by Sam Fink, gets out in front. And it's lackadaisical marking by Tarek Morad. One of the three who have been so good on that back line, allowing the center back to get just a hint of space to put his squad out in front.
St. Louis goals brought to you by Domino's. And it's the captain, Sam Fink, to put his team on the score sheet. 1-0 St. Louis. The St. Louligans with the flares in the supporters section, but now at the other end of the field, it's the Rowdies. Straight to safety from St. Louis. Deke were there with the pressure. And Murad looking to now pick up the tempo for his side.
And we really want to keep an eye on the next 5 minutes, Poppy, because in week 1 versus Indy, they traded blows and goals over the matter of minutes. Now you want to try and settle things down. If you're St. Louis, you can push for the jugular and go for a second, but you do not want to give something up to the visitors and gain back some of that momentum.
Caleb Richards, the Englishman on the far side, on loan from Norwich, couldn't do enough to keep it in. It'll be a throw from St. Louis on the far side. Well, now we have got a game on our hands, Devon.
And then there's Oscar Umar. Remember, just a few minutes ago, Guenzati getting stuck in on Oscar on the far touchline. And Anthony Pilis had said, why is he coming off if he can't walk? The trainer will shift back over and take a look at Oscar, and that's not something you want to see as a manager. 28 minutes into a match, yet alone with a vital midfielder. It's Brian Brown's their trainer. He's going to step on and see if he can keep him going.
Well, while we have a look at that, fans, you can follow St. Louis and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to USL, MLS and UFC, and many more. Join over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Well, will this be the end of Oscar Umar's night? We will see. It's not looking too good for him at the minute.
Noticeably struggling. You can see his gait a bit off, and we'd seen Kyle Gregg warming up on the sideline just to stay warm, but there's Guy Bend. The Israeli coming over, spent 2018 with Reno, but he spent his time with a couple of different squads. I'm really hoping that he can step in. Number one, that Umar's going to be okay. High-paced match, a lot going on in the middle of the field. Guy Bend not really used a boatload in the first 2 matches, so he's going to have to get running quite rapidly.
Guy Bend, the Israel Youth International, 15 minutes under his belt so far in this 2019 campaign. Let's see what he can add to St. Louis, but a real difficult loss for them, taking Umar out so early on.
Hilton and Umar have been the mainstays on the pitch so far. Haven't really had to move anything on the back line. They did make the switch from Boehner to Paris G at right back. Otherwise, Hilton and Umar in the middle of the field, and he just overextends himself, and it's just a progression from what we saw before on the tackle with Guenzati. He just goes right to the ground, and immediately Pulis knows that he has to go to his bench.
All substitutions brought to you tonight by Singer. Tarek Murad over the dead ball. Looking to pump the Rowdies into the attack, goes to Fernando. Back to Murad, trying to work it through the middle. Congestion is there, Steinberger. For Ekra. The Rowdies now on the front foot and in the box. Great defending at the back by St. Louis. It's still Ekra. Tiptoeing outside the box. The pressure is there, but he's managed to find a bit of space. Good delivery to the back post, wide open, and what a save that is from Jake Fenlison.
Well done by the Rowdies. Good job, just patience by Jan Ekra, like the defending by Ken Feo on the far side. Makes him run this back around. Great ball all the way across. There's Caleb Richards, remember, left back, makeshift outside wing back this time around. Good stuff in. Leo Fernandez trying to put it right in front of the trailing run of Brandon Allen. And as you mentioned, Jake Fenlison just having a fantastic start to his 2019 campaign, steps up into the dead zone and collects it.
Brandon Allen right there, ready to toe poke that one in. Denied by Fenlison. 1-0, St. Louis leads, the scoreline remains. Almost a chance for Allen to break free. Offsides he will be. And that's something we typically see of Allen no matter where he's playing in the USL. Just likes to hang on that last defender and find the breakthrough.
That was the conversation we had with Neil Collins, and Collins telling us, I said, you know, Brandon Allen, an interesting acquisition for you guys. He said, Devin, when we took a look at the league in general and looked at the numbers up top, Brandon Allen's name just kept coming up. You saw him score goals for Red Bull 2. He did the same thing with Bethlehem and Nashville last year, and whether it was not fitting the systems or maybe not necessarily agreeing with the philosophies as what their managers were bringing, Brandon Allen doesn't get his services retained. And kind of like some other pieces we've seen in the likes of Steinberger, Jan Ekra, one's loss is another's gain. So they were happy to pick him up, and he will always hang on that last defender, sitting on the last shoulder, making you check every single time that you try and step that back line because he's such a shifty forward up top. Very crafty with his efforts, speed, size, he's got it all.
Paris G building the attack. Dequart working down this near flank. But it'll be Rowdies to bring the ball out the back. Just going back to Brandon Allen, the second highest scorer in the league since 2016. Just knows how to find the back of the net.
And how nice for Guenzati up top to have a striking partner now. Ristoff was obviously more than capable of getting that done. But his services have taken a seat on the sideline now as he's retired and moved on from the Rowdies. Did so well for them for so long, and that's where those off-season acquisitions that you talked about, Poppy, where you get guys like Jan Ekra, guys like Steinberger and Brandon Allen, and just extra pieces that push the bench to become deeper as well. Neil Collins saying that they go on the road first week, even guys that didn't make the trip, weren't in the 23, weren't in the 18, it's become such a tight-knit unit, especially on the offensive side of things where they know what they can do, but defensively, they're just one big unit, sending text messages, best of luck, congrats. It really is a family-oriented unit, much more emotion involved, and Collins says that compared to years past, it just feels like there's much more of a purpose.
Murad, fancy footwork out the back, finds the feet of Fernandez. Back into a bit of space. Across for Kone. And out of the back by John McCarthy. St. Louis on the return again, dispossessed. Battling back on the far side. Jan Ekra just with the pressure, maybe too much pressure on that occasion. And there's Gaia Bend ready to put us back underway. About 10 minutes left to play here in Fenton, Missouri. It's Poppy Miller alongside Devin Kerr. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. Here's Dakers. Back to Hilton. Good combination play. The bend almost caught in the middle of the park. Rowdies sitting deep, but looking to apply that spurts of pressure.
They're trying to. You can see their line in the middle of the field very flat, trying to make St. Louis guess on what spots they can play in and out of. Not a lot of windows for Pulis's boys, and he can't be happy with a couple of his guys going to the ground, but it is the first time that they've scored in the first half this season, so nice to get out in front, have a bit of breathing room. Again, week 1 versus Indy 11, they had to come from behind, and then last week at Nashville, a later goal from Calvert to get the winner. So uncharted territory for the home squad.
Dakers combines with Parrish G. Back to Hilton, across to the substitute, Gaia Bend. Hilton busy in the middle of the park already this afternoon. Parrish G working hard down this flank, named to USL Team of the Week after his performance against Nashville. Spent the last 2 seasons prior with Tulsa Roughnecks, over 50 appearances for them. 6 assists, 4 goals. A wingback that likes to get forward. Here's Brandon Allen. Leaves it for Fernandez. Fernandez for Steinberger in the box. Steinberger looking to create something of it, whips one in. Looked like a dangerous floating ball, but well read out the back by Fenderson.
Better progression by the Tampa Bay Rowdies, but again, just not truly threatening, is it? Nice balls in and out, and a good job by Brandon Allen to hold up play, but it also allows that composed back line of St. Louis FC to step back. Sam Fink had to tackle in the middle of the field, did not win it. And you thought Fernandez might have been in down on the left touchline, but that wasn't the case. Good job just tracking back and remaining calm. Composure has been a big thing for them in the first 3 matches. They do not get rattled. They also don't shy away from a challenge.
It's Caleb Richards back to Jan Ekra. A good switch to Fernandez, who keeps it for his side. Murad into the middle of the park. Up to the top, Allen at the top of the box. Traffic around him, can't keep hold of it. And now St. Louis picking up some wind behind their sails. Cicerone denied at the back. And here come the Rowdies in the opposite direction. Very back and forth in this late going.
Rowdies are going to try and find some momentum just before halftime here. Again, possession isn't the end of the world. Purposeful is. So we've seen them go forward with some intent, but not necessarily what we saw in weeks 1 and 2 against the likes of Memphis 901 and then Pittsburgh Riverhounds, especially against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for them to be such a sound defensive unit, the Rowdies were always threatening.
Here's Steinberger looking to the top of the box, nobody home. And Kavita combines out the back. Here's a bend with Hilton. The Rowdies pick up the loose ball. Fernandez takes a strike, almost in danger, and that hit the woodwork. It was a dangerous ball in from Leo Fernandez, and the Rowdies create another stellar opportunity for themselves.
There's the balance they've been looking for. Just saw him on the far side. They come back around to Fernandez. And as this ball comes across the middle, you have to wonder, all of the praise that we've given St. Louis FC, this just comes right across the 6. Fenwell Kavita cannot keep up with the late run on the backside. Brandon Allen has to do better in that situation. Loads of daylight in front of him. Fenlison has been hung out to dry. Everything to gain, and you cannot finish it off. He'll regret that one.
A fantastic ball across by Fernandez. Looked almost as if it came off the bar from this position, just wide of the target though. Like you said, Brandon Allen will want that one back. Guenzati with the pressure. A bend in the middle of the park. Loose ball at the back. Fenlison comes to collect. And now is it a case for St. Louis just to keep the possession, get them to halftime?
Don't be surprised if they just kind of go through the motions the last few minutes. Anthony Pulis has told us that, you know, we really like to dictate to teams this year. We played catch up a lot. We were really letting them drive the game, and then we were reacting. We don't want to do that this year. You've got a goal. You've got a lot of momentum. But at the same point in time, you don't want to give the Rowdies any reason whatsoever to get back in this, especially just before halftime. If you can get something away, that's great. But otherwise, don't expect anything else but smooth sailing for the next 5 minutes.
It's like Deekwa took a tumble. Anthony Pulis up off his bench below, very unhappy with that challenge. You can see him there, just dishing out his direction to his side.
You can almost imagine he's giving him the nicest of words to our head referee. Anthony Pulis never one to express how he feels. 2 weeks ago, he said that, you know, I posed the question, Coach, you look at what the club was able to do last year, you get your postseason appearance, you fall short in Orange County, albeit one red card that affected the game. What did your take away from last year? What was the biggest thing you learned? And he said, you know, I learned that I need to be better with my own emotion, that at times it's overtaken me and affects my decision making. So he's still going to step in, a tongue lashing here and there, but at the same point in time, he wants to remain calm and composed because he's the one who has to lead them throughout the entire 90 minutes.
Deekwa up and okay, ready to enter back into the game below us. As he just makes his way onto the pitch there, you can see Albert Deekwa, the Cameroonian, in his second season with St. Louis, started 19 of the 29 games he appeared in last season, 3 goals and 3 assists on the year. Having a good game so far this afternoon. Here's the Rowdies looking for a push before halftime. Guenzati wanting Richards to get into the attack. But it's St. Louis who'll pick up the possession. A bend. This could really be a chance. Offside though. Caleb Calvert was there. You can see Anthony Pulis very upset with that decision, but that was a good, well-worked ball despite being offside.
That's one of those opportunities we chatted about. They're not necessarily going to push everything just minutes before, but a great ball played in. Pulis does not agree with the referee's decision, and his temper has taken up a few notches in the past couple minutes.
Here's Guenzati for the Rowdies, battling down the flank. That's going to be a set-piece opportunity, and that is something you don't want to give away so close to halftime, Devon.
Remember, they gave the penalty up in week 1 versus Indy, and then immediately, we talked about it before, Neville Hackshaw scoring on the back post from the corner, and he's not been happy with how they've been marking. Said it's been an area they haven't been the best at. This time, Paris G. Guenzati, she tries to go to the ground, and that's just, you know, you have to be better in that situation. You've got the support and the likes of Sam Fink and your center back coming in behind you. Your captain, he's got your back, covered the weak side of it. Why not just allow that to push in, play the 2v1 game? No reason to go to ground there.
Zach Steinberger, the set-piece specialist for the Rowdies over the dead ball. Two men stand in his way before the box. The referee keeping a close eye on some pushing and shoving in there. Steinberger set to take it. Whips one short. Here's Adoro, takes the strike, patted away. The danger isn't over. And that will be a throw-in for St. Louis, one straight off the training ground.
That'll keep you second guessing, huh? Wow. Dominic Odoro from about 35 yards out. When we started this, we said that you wanted to be St. Louis FC player, continue to test John McCarthy. Dominic Odoro showing a bit of frustration with lack of opportunities in the final third. But how about the goalkeeping? Fenlison, great decision-making. Can't get your hands on it. Kids at home, you want to be a goalkeeper? Push it to your side. Live to fight another day.
Fenlison, the standout, with a couple of fantastic saves early on. Here's Fernandez, working into the box. Out, safety from the captain, Sam Fink. Caleb Calvert just applying some pressure up top, the lone striker. And McCarthy opts to go short out the back. Here's Dekite. For Fernandez. And no worries from the St. Louis line, nicely defended. Out of the back. Stoppage time this afternoon is presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs. 5 minutes added on, Devon.
We had a lot going on. Didn't necessarily know if it was worthy of 5 minutes or not. I think that's a bit aggressive, but hey, we'll take it. A bit more time to see the boys in action. If you're Neil Collins, you have to find a way to start to exert your will a bit further than what you've been doing. We've referenced St. Louis FC and how they've been so reaction-oriented. Now it's time for the Rowdies to take some of that advice and apply it on their end of things, because they have been laying chase the entire time.
Here's Brandon Allen. He's got numbers in the box, goes to Fernandez. Looking to go to the top. Well worked by the Rowdies. Ekra will pick up the loose ball. Diffuses and goes back. A good switch of play again from Tampa. Murad into Steinberger. Out wide to Fernandez. The Rowdies just pulling St. Louis out of position. Leo Fernandez earns his team a throw. Good sturdy defending from Paris G, the outside back. A bit of pushing from Guenzati. And St. Louis can take a breath.
That's frustration by Guenzati. The referee's decision a few moments before, and wasn't happy with the lack of call when Sam Fink stepped into it. This time just repays the favor. And that's not the worst thing in the world to see.
Fenlison, lofty ball out the back, putting St. Louis, launching them straight into the attack. Here's Paris G. Back to Fink. A good dummy to full Guenzati. And Fenlison forced long. Loose touch from Paris G this time. Lofty balls flying back and forth. Here's Dikwa.
How about Paris G, though? We talked about his challenge earlier on, how he didn't allow Sam Fink to come over and help him out. He went to ground, and he got blown the whistle on him. Fast forward about 3 minutes. He stands him up, allows help this time, and then just now pulls the high boot out of the challenge, allowing his team to progress, and you're going to get a throw-in for it. That's much better from the outside back. At least he's learning.
Came through the Vancouver Whitecaps Youth Academy. Like we mentioned, off to a flying start this season after being named to Team of the Week. Here's St. Louis looking for one more opportunity before half-time, and denied by traffic in the box. This will bring up a corner kick. Well, we've mentioned how critical St. Louis have been over the dead ball, and now they've got one more opportunity, it looks like. Corner kicks presented by Electro Savings Credit Union.
Hey fans, for every goal scored by St. Louis FC off of a corner kick, Electro Savings will be donating $100 to the Living Legacy Fund.
Dakers to earn it. And here comes the delivery once again from Lewis Hilton. This time it'll be an outswinger from this near side. Hilton with a good ball in towards the penalty spot, scramble in the box and picked up by McCarthy. Well, about 1 minute left to play of added on time, Devon. Do you think both teams at this point just want to get into the locker room?
Decidedly so. You can see Anthony Pulis. They're not as crisp as they were at the start of this half, and things have opened up a bit for the Rowdies, which is nice. But make no mistake about it, Neil Collins is not going to be happy with his squad's performance so far. They're a transitional team, and they don't mind succeeding possession, but the opportunities that have presented themselves, they haven't made the most out of them. It's been poor, to be honest. You expect much better, especially considering what we've seen out of the first 2 games against them.
Fernandez been busy all half on this flank. Dispossessed this time and straight over the top. Ishmael Pekmik will give a free kick to the home side there. And this could very well be the last kick of the half.
And you can hear Anthony Pulis arguing on the sideline that Kadeem Dakers was carded on the counterattack on the corner for exactly the same infraction. So if you're going to call it one way, just be consistent and call it the other.
And there will be no time to take the free kick. Well, Devon, let's get your thoughts on that half.
Not bad from the home squad. They showed that they're more than willing to push the pace a little bit and give the Rowdies a taste of their own medicine, but at the same point in time remained composed. The Rowdies are struggling to keep up. They can't really figure out the game and the tactics that St. Louis have put to paper so far. We'd like to see St. Louis come out with a considerable amount of emotion at the start of the second half, maybe grab an early goal and try and put this thing to bed.
We'll stay with us at halftime. We'll take a look at the next upcoming games for St. Louis and some news and notes around the USL Championship. We'll be back in just a minute.
A year ago, local soccer fans had a chance to celebrate.
And for the first time in club history, St. Louis FC are into the postseason.
Tickets for St. Louis FC on sale now. You can be a part of the action.
And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
There's season tickets, single game, group, and flex tickets. Something for everyone with St. Louis FC. Support your local team. stlouisfc.com.
Junior programs, basically, there's 2 sides of it. There's a rec side and there's a select side. And basically, it's for ages 2 to 12.
So you start off by doing a little bit of a warm-up.
It's a developmental, kind of want to introduce the players to the game and kind of all in a fun environment and create a positive experience.
Our staff is first class, our facilities first class, and it's really a first class program.
Cutting onto his right will strike, and it's in! What an incredible strike! Leaving it for Lewis Hilton, scored! And might that just this be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
You're going to be going against Will from the U15s. Michelle, I believe you are first. We've got our ball on the spot. Eric, you are up. All right, I'm curious to see her approach. I watched a few of the warm-ups. I can't say they were great, Randy, but...
Welcome back to Fenton, Missouri. It's halftime here, the home side leading the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And while we have a second, let's take a look at the next upcoming home matches, because there'll be free tickets for teachers on March 30th against Charlotte Independence.
Always nice getting the community involved. Any teachers, administrators from local area show a school ID and they'll let you in for free. How do I get in on that? I need a forger and get me a fake school ID. Yeah, St. Louis has a couple interesting matches upcoming. They've done well at home so far, and you take a look down. Got to finish off the final 45 minutes tonight, and they'll get another home game versus Charlotte Independence. McGinnis, the new era, has stepped in. Haven't been great so far, and then an interesting run of games. At Atlanta United 2, then home versus Birmingham Legion. Chandler Hoffman still looking to get things going. Bob Lilly and co. will visit with the Riverhounds SC. And the Swope Park Rangers will make their debut in the Eastern Conference against St. Louis. Those two guys doing battle last year, and I'm sure no love has been lost between those two managers, as they had some excellent fixtures in 2018.
A couple of fantastic matches coming up. Which one of those stands out for you, Devon?
I'll be interested to see what happens when they travel to Highmark and Pittsburgh Riverhounds, because that is a very difficult place to play. The Riverhounds are difficult defensively in general, but they always seem to find an extra offensive spark when they're at home. So again, St. Louis having to go on the road versus a very difficult squad. Bob Lilly never won to have a bad squad. They're always very well put together. Similar composition as the Battery, and it's going to be difficult to take them down.
Of course, Pittsburgh's Riverhounds very defensively sound. Well, St. Louis's Scott Gallagher's track record of developing top performers begins the moment a player steps on the field with a member of our first-class coaching staff. The junior camp summer program is a great place for young players to get their first touch, and is the subject of today's halftime feature presented by Dobbs.
Tied at 1.
My name is Matt Sichling. I'm the Junior Program Director for St. Louis Scott Gallagher. Junior programs, basically there's two sides of it. There's a rec side and there's a select side, and basically it's for ages 2 to 12.
So you start off by doing a little bit of a warm-up.
It's a developmental, kind of want to introduce the players to the game and kind of all in a fun environment and create a positive experience. It's a lot of, technical ball skills, getting them comfortable with the ball at their feet, motor skills depending on the age, a lot of coordination, balance. Each kid has a ball, so kind of anything involving a ball, it's really kind of almost soccer aerobics sometimes. So, it could be dribbling, it could be running, it could be skipping, kind of anything with a ball.
Basically, our coaches are, a lot of them are teachers, a lot of them are college students, a lot of them are full or part-time staff. They have to have high energy, and we want to make sure that the key is fun and really relating with the kids. A lot of times we start them off with playing. We want them to have fun, and the best teacher of the game is the game itself. So we'll come out and they just start playing, and we want everybody to have fun and score goals, and then from there we go into the sessions.
A lot of our programs are 6 weeks long, so after the 6 weeks, if they enjoy it, have a good experience, and they decide they want to make that next step, then we kind of have the option they could try out for our select team or go from there.
Our staff is first class, our facilities first class, and it's really a first class program.
Well, with the new USL League One kicking off this week, let's take a look at the new USL Championship reformat. Welcome back to Fenton, Missouri. It's halftime here. The home side leading the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 1-0. But while we have a second, let's take a look at the news and notes around the USL Championship.
Brian Brown, deservedly so, gets the Player of the Week. He's one of 8 Jamaicans who's actually currently on international duty. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see the rendering of the Louisville FC new stadium, wow, Louisville City has done fantastic things out there, and it's great to see exactly what's going to come to fruition in the next coming months. But I'll tell you what hasn't come to fruition yet. It's the upcoming schedule. You can take a look at everything that's going on with the Eastern and Western Conference. Charlotte Independence still looking to find a way to impose their will in the Eastern Conference. A lot of big moves in the offseason. How about that? Red Bull 2, Nashville SC. Gary Smith has to find a way on the offensive side of things. You go out, you get Carlton Belmar, Cameron Lancaster, you keep Lebo Maloto, and oh, by the way, a gentleman by the name of Daniel Rios comes over. That is some serious talent. Join us on Sunday, Memphis Bethlehem Steel. That'll be a fun one. And how about this? Nice upcoming schedule. Eastern Conference games. Charleston Battery, NCFC, Dave Sarakin still getting things going. Bethlehem Steel, Bob Lilly, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Good stuff. I like it. Give me the White Puma Nielsen. We'll visit Indy 11, 4 o'clock. The White Puma, always a fun one, but still has not gotten 3 points this year. He's looking to get in the win column.
Well, that's the upcoming USL Championship schedule for the next couple of weeks. We're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll take a look at first half highlights. We'll be back in just a moment.
St. Louis, the birthplace of soccer in the United States. 5 St. Louis natives on the 1950 World Cup team.
St. Louis FC with 3 absolutely monumental points in the bag.
Support your local team. The nation is watching. Tickets for St. Louis FC on sale now. Get yours at stlouisfc.com.
Cutting onto his right, will strike, and it's in! What an incredible strike! Leaving it for Lewis Hilton, scored! And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
Boy.
A year ago, local soccer fans had a chance to celebrate.
And for the first time in club history, St. Louis FC are into the postseason.
Tickets for St. Louis FC on sale now. You can be a part of the action.
And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
There's season tickets, single game, group, and flex tickets. Something for everyone with St. Louis FC. Support your local team. stlouisfc.com.
Welcome back to Fenton, Missouri. It's halftime here. The home side, St. Louis FC, leading the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 1-0. Poppy Miller alongside Devon Kerr. Thank you so much for joining us for this afternoon's match, wherever you are. Well, Devon, several chances in the first half. Let's take a look at some first half highlights.
How in the 6th minute this ball makes its way back to Caleb Calvert. He gets a shot off. I still haven't been able to figure it out. McCarthy tries to step to the near post, but Calvert just gets a bit in front of him. Quick turn. Even better release, and boom, far post right off of it. Can't get a trailing runner from St. Louis FC. They would start to really open things up. 12th minute, Daker's wide on the right, and how about this? Brings it into his left foot, just step over quick, goes to the near post. Great save by John McCarthy. That's pretty much what you saw in the first half. Opening 20 minutes, it was all St. Louis FC. They were really trying to find a way to push the tempo. They did a good job with it. Interestingly enough, the goal would actually come from a set-piece opportunity. Lewis Hilton. How many times can we talk about how good he is from set pieces? Swings this one in. We said it was a platter before. It was a silver platter, my friend. Sam Fink, leave it to the center back when it goes as low as possible to go down with his head and finish things off. The Rowdies would get an opportunity of their own. This comes all the way to the back post. Good job by Fernandez coming across, and Brandon Allen There was the trailing run there. There's the ball at the far post where he makes his way around. How do you not finish this off? You know, maybe before Fenlison does good goalkeeping, but this time you have 3-4 yards, the entire 8x8 wide open. You have to put something on frame, and it just never really came to fruition.
Several chances for either side. And it's Sam Fink, the captain for St. Louis, that is the difference. And Devon, if you're Neil Collins at halftime, what do you think his message to the team will be?
Energy. They're lacking it for sure. Again, you don't really mind having less opportunities or less possession, but when you go forward with intent and purpose, make sure that there's a lot of emotion behind it. And we really haven't seen that, especially not compared to what we saw in the opening 180 minutes for them, both on the road and at home versus Pittsburgh. For St. Louis, Sam Fink becomes the first player in club history to score in 4 different seasons. That's your center back that's holding that stat. So a great thing for them. You'll see St. Louis come out. I'd be surprised if they don't go after the Rowdies right away, and expect the Rowdies to absorb a bit of pressure and try and take this game a bit further and get back into the match.
Just one substitution so far. Oscar Umar out on injury. Guy Ben makes his way in, and it's going to be the Englishman Lewis Hilton to get us back underway from Missouri for this second half. Well, we spoke about what Neil Collins' halftime team talk might look like, but for Anthony Pulis, what do you think his message to the team was?
It's definitely composition. They allowed themselves to be exploited a bit by the Rowdies. They know Rowdies are a quick unit that like to get in the overlapping runs and then funnel things back into the middle. All of the opportunities came in that direction. We saw it from Leo Fernandez, saw Zach Steinberger freelancing out on the right a little bit, and then the long-range shot by Oduro, but all of it came from St. Louis's inability to remain compact at the back. That's what they're known for. That's where they need to remain calm and just continue to apply the pressure that we saw in the opening 20 minutes.
Cicerone with the pressure there, as you can see, and we are underway for the second half of this big Eastern Conference matchup of almost a great challenge at the top of the box. And a way out the back by Takite. Collins retrieves the ball just down below. Head coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies in his second season with the team. And you managed to speak to him earlier this week. A real chance for him to make this team exactly what he wants it to be.
We have to remember that when he came in, although he was already holding an assistant coach type role, he was one of the players, so still taking direction from Stuart Campbell. And so when he steps in, pretty much got about 65% of the season under his belt, gave him an opportunity to go out, explore the options. And he said, you know, Devin, I was brutally honest with players at the end of last year.
Could this be a chance? It's Guenzati. A fantastic save at the back by Fenlison. A real chance for the Rowdies in this early going of the second half. And the Rowdies still on the front foot. Here's Kone. A good touch inside, creates some space for himself as he approaches the top of the box, looking to feed a ball through to Guenzati up top. And just a miscommunication with each other. Great play out the back by the defender, Mohamed Kone.
Much better things in the final third for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. There's a new acquisition from Allen to an old faithful, Seba Guenzati. Neil Collins saying that I was brutally honest and that guys that we were going to keep, I made them a high priority. I tried to get it locked up immediately, and if we weren't truly sure, we just said, listen, happy to give you a recommendation, get another opportunity somewhere else. They tried to make as many moves as possible early on, but some like Zach Steinberger wasn't really sure of what his presence was going to be with Martin Rennie at Indy 11, so they had to wait until late preseason to really get things solidified from a rostering standpoint. Feels like they put something special together.
There's Caleb Calvert, the goal scorer from last match for St. Louis against Nashville. Camden Feo over the dead ball, as is Lewis Hilton, who's been over most of the set pieces so far today. And let's see if it'll be him to line up over this one.
Right at the top of the box. There's the two big guys. Fanuel Kavita and Sam Fink stacked. Just looking to run a screen off of one of each other. And Lewis Hilton, if he is going to hit this, this is going to be dangerously close to the top of the 6.
And it's going to be Camden Feo this time with the delivery. And no worries for the Rowdies as they'll take the free kick out the back.
Much better decision by Kendon Feo to hit this instead of Lewis Hilton. Again, if he was going to put this, it would start swinging in and allow John McCarthy to step up and collect. Kendon Feo elects to bring it a bit further out, and then Gaia Ben gets stuck in. Referee blows the whistle. There's John McCarthy. Loves that headgear, doesn't he? Picked up a couple concussions when he was younger and just didn't really want to chance it. Not a bad fashion statement, is it? You gonna get one?
I think I might. I think I might. I'll wear it especially for commentating.
There you go.
John McCarthy with 2 clean sheets on the season so far. Well worked out the back by St. Louis. Looking to get on the front foot. Zach Steinberger back to rescue. And here comes a throw in for the home side. The St. Louligans filed in around us here in Fenton, Missouri. Hilton trots across, and this will be a corner kick presented by Electro Savings. An in-swinger from the Cornwall native. 6 assists on the season last year, and a good ball in towards the back post, punched away by McCarthy. St. Louis looking to work it again, and McCarthy up to safety. Great goalkeeping.
Right on cue, Poppy. Just good representation of John McCarthy and what he's all about. Well done on the first go around, punches away, and then comes back around on the second effort. Makes himself real big, gets high above everyone, wins the challenge. Now the Rowdies go to work. What can they do? Anything different so far in the opening 5 minutes? Not really. We've seen much more of the same. There's Damo Duro standing over the ball. They have to find a way to get him more involved. He'll sit in that holding midfielder role, but the reason they were able to explode down the pitch in the first 2 matches, how many times do we see the ball come in, collect it, he'd go the other direction? Have not seen a lot of that this afternoon.
Here's Konate to get us back underway. And if you're just joining us, both teams missing a key player really tonight on international duty.
Sean Berry, Puerto Rican international, got his goal and assist last week alongside Zach Steinberger in their crucial win over Pittsburgh Riverhounds at Al Lang, and Joaquin Rivas, who actually, interestingly enough, Anthony Pulis said that he was struggling a bit with his fitness levels, came into camp having already been with the national squad, got in few training sessions, but that's why he did not start the first week. They limited his minutes, gave him a go last week, did much better for the squad, and now he's away again. So in and out of the squad, it's difficult, but at the same point in time, Pulis has done a good job allowing himself to really deepen this roster. That is not what we saw in 2018, and you better believe gives them an opportunity to be much stronger this year.
And a similar message from both coaches earlier this week, very early on in the season, almost still finding their feet, finding their formation, and finding their key players. On your screen there, Anthony Pulis, second season with St. Louis. Had a fantastic year last year, making the playoffs, but falling in the first round. He'll be looking to build on that this year.
Penny for a thought with that man, huh? Well, you can only imagine what's running through his mind. Has to be sky high emotionally right now, but still a bit of work to be done in this one, isn't there?
Hilton with the delivery. This time looking towards the back post. The head is on, just wide of the target. No worries for John McCarthy. Sam Fink up there in the mix again. The captain, goal scorer in the first half. Let's take another look at this.
You have to wonder why. You know he scored the first goal. And the second go around, you take Caleb Richards, who on a big day is 5'9", against the likes of Sam Fink, who's listed at 6'2" and probably bigger than that. There's no reason. That is a mismatch by Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's poor marking, and unfortunate for Sam Fink not to be able to get his second goal of the day.
Sam Fink just scored the lone goal last season, 2 assists on the year, started 32 of the 33 games he played in the Missouri native in his second spell with St. Louis. A real mainstay on the back line last season, and I'm sure what's gearing up to be for this season as well. Here's Tampa. Building into the attack. Fernandez forced back. Well read by St. Louis. Steinberger picks it up at the top of the box, takes a touch inside. Lays one out wide this time. and forced all the way back. Murad. For Steinberger. Maduro just sitting in that holding midfielder role like we spoke about. To the top of the box, Guenzotti's there. He's trying to get the strike away, but blocked. And again, just dispossessed, well read by Lewis Hilton. Hilton out wide to Dakers. And a Bend will step in, looking to lead him on. Just a touch too much sauce on that one.
And just as we said that the Rowdies were pretty much exhibiting the same effort that we saw in the opening 45, they start to play a bit more, don't they? Finding the tight windows, good interchanging play, and it's the 1-2 quick passes in and out. They may be small opportunities in little areas, but they have no problem doing it.
There's Caleb Richards on loan from Norwich, the Tampa Bay Rowdies' new affiliate. And an interesting partnership with that one, Devon.
It gives you a chance to really widen the talent pool a little bit, doesn't it? Especially for the guys that are in that 18 to 21 work, or maybe necessarily haven't broken into the first team for Norwich, and then they come over stateside, a bit more mature, experienced. Again, these guys overseas are getting these reps at 15, 16 years of age, where the Americans are still starting to find their footing there. It's been better developmentally stateside, but they are not necessarily willing to let all of that talent go out the window overseas either. So bring them across, get them some regular reps, hopefully bring them back to the club.
There's another look at that challenge. And Caleb Richards already proving to be very versatile, starting at left back. We've seen him all over the park tonight. St. Louis looking to launch one into the attack. Just a misconnected pass will give Tarek Murad the chance to bring the Rowdies out of the back. Possession short-lived as St. Louis look to get on the front foot. Very, very stop-start in the last couple of minutes.
Not only that, St. Louis is really lacking in the middle of the field. Since Oscar Umar has come out, you can see Guy Bend struggling to find himself in the match, rubbing shoulders with Lewis Hilton, and the progression for them down the field has lacked as well. The Rowdies haven't been able to take advantage of it, but they're the ones who have had the better run of play in the past 3 or 4 minutes. That doesn't mean it's been good. They look at the aggressor for sure.
Here's Fernandez into Steinberger. Back into the mix. As St. Louis sit in defensively. Here's Kone. Richards to return to sender. Across the back, Dakite. We mentioned he joined mid-season last year, made 15 appearances in 2018, started all of those matches. Fantastic centre back. Here comes the lofty ball into the box. Guenzotti is there and almost lost it. Jake Fenlerson at the back. That was a bit shaky, Devon.
Very uncharacteristic of Jake Fenlerson, the California native. Seems to have made his home, at least in the opening match, and on the road. But this time around, he does good. He gets the right positioning in, and just as he drifts across, his center back Sam Fink comes over. Fink has done nothing wrong. Fenlerson needs to do better. You catch it at its peak, you go to ground with it, nearly crosses the line.
Camden Feo in and just knocked out of bounds, out of your screen below us. It's going to be a corner kick for St. Louis. And up comes Lewis Hilton. He's been very busy tonight over set-piece opportunities.
This will be the 4th time that we're going to see him stand over and have a go. Again, last time, Camden Feo left-footed about 40 yards out, but this gives him an opportunity to put a bit more pace behind the ball, allow the likes of Kavita and Sam Fink, both who have gotten a goal here in the opening 3 matches.
Lewis Hilton, there's air under it at the near post, off the back of the line. That was good defending from the Rowdies, but still, they are looking to hit on the counter-attack. It's Brandon Allen to bring them out. He's on his own as St. Louis flood back in to defend. To Steinberger. Steinberger finding space. Out wide, into the box. A poor delivery on what was a fantastic build-up. Now at the opposite end of the pitch, Kone under some pressure. Referee almost waving play on, but let's see what this decision will be. What did you think there, Devin?
Well, it's funny, you have a couple people wondering if he might have slipped. And then it looks like Mohamed Kone comes in late after the challenge. So there's the initial push, comes back up, Dacre's back around. No foul there. He touches this ball, he gets the ball, and then just to reach over. Here's a better look. No, that's all ball. It's a bit from behind, which the referee might not like. But he does get all ball, and then how about Kone just reaching out, pulling him down?
And here we've got a substitution. Off comes Brandon Allen. His night is over. And Juan Tejada makes his way onto the pitch. What do you think of that substitution?
We saw Tejada start the first game on the road and then used as a sort of super sub last week. He's a high-spirited individual, isn't the tallest of guys, but very brute-like in his efforts. Kind of bulldogish, will get down and do the dirty work, but he has an engine that just goes and goes and goes. This will give an opportunity for Guenzati to kind of explore a bit more. It'll free him up from the challenges that he's to get stuck in because there wasn't really a lot of connection between he and Brandon Allen.
Tejada in his first season with Tampa signed his first professional contract after an impressive pre-season through the trialing system. Was the second leading goal scorer in pre-season for the Rowdies. Attended college in St. Pete. See if he'll be an Energizer bunny tonight for Neil Collins' side. The Rowdies pick up the loose ball in the middle of the park. Here's Richards. Assesses his options in the box, opts to go to the top of the box. The Rowdies forced back. Ekra. Out wide to Murad. Tejada finds Fernandez on the far side. Murad joining in. Getting up. Aduro's there. Here's Tejada. Looking to take the strike. Takes a deflection and bounces all the way through.
Sweet little ball by Dominic Oduro. The African contingent that is Jan Ekra and Oduro have switched paces a bit here. Ekra playing a bit of a deeper role, allowing Oduro to push higher.
And here he is again on the ball, Ekra. This time back to Kone. The pressure is on from St. Louis, but Kone comes out on top. The attack continues for the Rowdies. Here's Richards. Lofty ball into the back post. Fernandez is there, pops it back up into the mix. Tejada. The danger risen over Fernandez at the top of the box again. Forced this time back. Murad joins in the attack. Oduro. Tejada getting straight in there into the mix.
That's a card. There you go. Much better by our referee. That's Diakite just coming over. And to be fair, it's a professional foul you pretty much have to make. St. Louis drops back, and as the ball makes its way out, there's a 50-50 challenge. If he doesn't take him down, he's in on his own. Loads of green to work with. There's a much better look. It's Albert Dikwa. Nice head right over. And then, yep, why not, Diakite?
Diakite holding up the play at the expense of a yellow card. Now you can see him on the screen. Didn't protest too much there, Devin.
Well, I've been in that situation before, and sometimes you just break the wrist, walk away, and understand you've gotten caught in the cookie jar, and that's okay.
John McCarthy at the back, giving his team time to get up. Diakite with the instruction to get into the attack. Looks like we're going to see another substitution from Neil Collins in just a second. Down below us, Vlastos looks like he's ready to make his way into the pitch. Or Hopino, sorry. We'll have that confirmation for you in just a second. One just combining with Zach Steinberger. And there is that substitution presented by Signa. Anton Hopeno makes his way in, and out comes Mohamed Kone. And how would you evaluate his performance tonight, Devon?
Not bad. Not the greatest, but not bad. Again, first start coming in. Have to slide in next to Diakite and Morad. And remember, Morad was on the right side. Caleb Richards was on the left. And Hopeno comes in. How many times did we see him do such great things over the past 2 seasons under Ian Russell out at Reno? And with Hopeno stepping onto the pitch, don't be surprised if you see a bit new faces on the right side, with Caleb Richards possibly moving back over to his left-hand spot, bringing Morad back to the right.
Hopeno just seen 13 minutes of action so far in his 2019 season. Let's see what he can do for the Rowdies here this afternoon. If you're just joining us, it's Sam Fink, the difference for St. Louis. Here's Ekra. A good ball out wide. Fernandez comes inside the box, looking to take a strike, runs into danger. St. Louis again looking to work on the counter. Dikwa. Back into his defense. And here we'll see another free kick this time. It's Gaia Bend to take a tumble.
The Rowdies have played some musical chairs here with the substitutions here in the second half, and that's what we have seen. Caleb Richards has gone back to the left back position. Tarek Morad has come back to his all too familiar right back. So now you have their 3-back system in the first 2 games, that unit back together. With Hopeno coming on, they've thrown him up top next to Guenzati, and then Juan Tejada. He could be the X factor here. He replaces where Richards was playing, and Richards a bit more defensive minded. Juan Tejada with that big engine, high top end speed. Don't be surprised to see some play coming down the right hand side a bit more than we did in the opening 45 minutes.
St. Louis to get us back underway. We've mentioned this whole entire second half has been very stop-start. Both teams really struggling to get their flow.
It's been quiet, hasn't it? Especially considering everything we saw out of St. Louis in the first half. And a lot of games this year in the USL, we've seen teams come out and they tend to be a bit slower in the first half and then flick the switch, turn it on in the second. Going in the opposite direction here. But how many times, if you're a Rowdies fan, are you going to be upset when you have to look and see Lewis Hilton standing over another set piece, this one coming from the corner and allowing the big guys up top, so lethal. They've been able to get one and have been trying to get the second. Rowdies not doing themselves any favors.
Lewis Hilton with the outswinger this time. It's a good ball into the back post and away from danger by Ekra. A fantastic delivery from the youngster, Lewis Hilton.
That's Morad and Sam Fink on the backside as Fink tries to put this back across. The two of them just knocking Bods a little bit. Morad pointing to his knee, and Fink was actually looking at his ankle. He's already got some KT tape, wrapped himself up.
See if we can have another look at this. Again, you've mentioned it all afternoon. Sam Fink wide open at the back post.
You have to wonder, they should have known coming into this game that he was going to be the one to go after. That on every set piece, he's the big body. And even if you haven't watched any tape this year, Sam Fink has done it at every level that he's played at, whether it be with OKC or St. Louis in the past. Yet time and time again, the Rowdies are continuously letting him become free on the back post. And it's not like they're running a crazy play. He's basically drifting from the front, slowly making his way to the back. Hilton just puts it up as a free-for-all, and he goes and wins it.
And it's not the first time early on in the season we've seen these centre backs and outside backs really being a danger in the box. Dakite out wide, there's Richards. Like you said, just slotted into the left back position. Tampa looking to build a bit of momentum out the back. Good breakdown by the home side.
This referee is he's marginal at best today. Ismir Pechmich just not really making the best decisions. up and down all over the place. And Dequa just coming in from behind. Great pressure by St. Louis, and you really have to respect. And they're defending all 11 behind the ball right now. They can become very flat at times, but if you notice the progression, as the ball gets played in behind, the next one just circles back around. Next man up type deal. They work so well together.
Here's one Tejada, back to Tarek Murad. Steinberger in the mix. Takes an awkward bounce off Murad at the back, and that'll be St. Louis to regain the possession. Camden Feo, the Frenchman, a 6'2" defender in his first season with St. Louis. Like you mentioned, Devon spent last season with Fresno. 20 matches played, was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2016 draft by Colorado Rapids, but soon after joined the Rochester Rhinos. Had over 50 appearances for them. Full of experience, and here he is again with the throw. This time we'll see the trainers come on for St. Louis just down below. Looks like we're going to see a substitution for St. Louis in just a minute. We'll get you that as soon as we have it. Anthony Pulis turning to his bench. What do you think he's looking to see from his side?
Just stabilization, first off. Number 2 up top, there was a look at Caleb Calvert, who's gone to ground, and most assuredly going to be Kyle Gregg coming on for him. As this ball gets thrown in, and you're going to see right up over the top of the back, there's an elbow, a second one right in, and then the last one right there as the hand drags in, right on the back of the head. And a lot of times people at home, they see it, especially in slow motion, like, oh, get up, no big deal. That hurts. At game speed, it really, really hurts. And there's a good idea of what's going on as the trainer comes on. He's got a nice gash on the back of his head. So expect Kyle Gregg to step in. And when he does come up there next to Albert Dequa, they need to find a way in the final 20 minutes to really disrupt the back line of the Rowdies. They were so good in the opening 30 minutes of really pushing the tempo, and you would see the press come in and out. We haven't seen that from them. A slow progression from the Rowdies, but a progression nonetheless has allowed them to remain within striking distance. That's the last thing if you want if you're Anthony Pulis.
There he is, the head man in charge, Anthony Pulis, looking out over his screen. Just back to Caleb Calvert, always safety first, especially when it comes to these head injuries.
We talked about John McCarthy and a couple concussions he picked up, which is why he wears his protective head brace back in goal. Same goes for the field players. Always so careful in this day and age. All the research, everything that's gone on, and concussion protocols, need to be careful. Not exactly the output Caleb Calvert was probably hoping for after his performance and goal in Nashville, but still be proud of himself. Leaves the pitch with a 1-0 lead.
There's a substitution presented by Singner. And it's Kyle Gregg to make his way onto the pitch. And as you can see, it's actually Kyle Gregg bobblehead night for St. Louis. That's pretty good, Devon.
Right? How about the eyes? Wow. There's this little howdy-ho on the left hand. You gotta respect him. Fun little video if you get a chance. Jump over to the St. Louis FC Twitter page. They've got some fun video with Kyle poking fun at himself in his own little bobblehead day.
You can see a yellow card while we were looking at bobbleheads for Tarek Murad at the back for Tampa Bay Rowdies. And you can just see John McCarthy busy organising his back line and defenders in the box. Camden Feo over the dead ball along with Lewis Hilton. Let's see who's going to whip this one in. It looks like it's going to be Hilton with the in-swinger. Again, in at the near post. No worries this time for the Rowdies, but the second ball comes in its delivery, and that was almost a fantastic chance for St. Louis.
Dequa was definitely in an offside position, and they allowed the play to progress before the linesman raised his flag. He wanted to be sure. Dequa knows it. Got stuck in behind. A good ball movement. Like the delayed run by Kadeem Dakers to step up into the neutral space and head it in. Nice little flick on from the chest.
Tejada is there, he breaks through. Could this be a chance for the Rowdies to really build up an attack. Hopino combines with him, takes the deflection. Jan Ekro with the re-delivery towards Fernandez, but Steinberger is there and almost looked like a handball, and it's going to be a penalty for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Well, he scored at one end and he's just given a penalty away at the other end. Sam Fink, handball in the box.
You can't read Sam Fink's lips. He's saying it hit my face, but Sam Fink, this is a mistake, my friend. We're not kidding you. As this ball comes back out and he comes across it, it 100% made contact with his hand. And it's in the run of play as well, so it's not just like he's off by himself. As Fink and Steinberger have a few words, and it's right at the top of the box. Tampa Bay Rowdies had waited for the ball to go to the back post. Gets drifted in, and you have gifted a chance here for the captain, Sebastian Guenzati, to step up and equalize. Remember, he got the opening goal of the season on the road versus Memphis 901 FC. And in that PK, he went low, he went quickly. Here's a better look. Ball coming back around, right at the top. There it is. Arm way out, extended beyond the body. Steinberger right next to him. Good chance for the visitors.
Well, Fenlerson saved a PK in week one. Here's Guenzati, and he slots it home. Sebastian Guenzati, the captain of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, equalizes the scoring here in Fenton, Missouri.
A truly gut-wrenching feeling right now for St. Louis. They will be shell-shocked, controlled most of the match, but the Rowdies have had the better run of play over the past 15 minutes. Neil Collins has gone to his bench to provide some energy, lift them up. That's exactly what they've gotten. Guenzati went low week one. This time, he goes high to the right of Fenlerson. Fenlerson saved it against Indy 11 and Dane Kelly. Just can't get off his line fast enough. They get the equalizer. They've got the momentum, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies are looking for more.
We are all squares here in Missouri in the 75th minute. Both captains tonight getting on the score sheet for each of their sides, Devon. And now we're at the opposite end of the pitch with St. Louis on the front foot, looking for the delivery into the box. The call was there. It's going to go in favor of the Rowdies. And now you've got to say we've really got a game on our hands to finish out this one.
You can hear the St. Louligans starting to get involved as well. Ismir Pekmic has to be careful here that this game doesn't get away from him. Some questionable decision making, and Kyle Gregg just a second ago, he comes in behind, but there's no contact. It's just a boot out.
And there's a St. Louligans out in numbers on this fantastic football afternoon in Missouri. Very loyal supporters out there tonight. Well, now if you're Anthony Pulis, what do you need to see from the side to get back on the score sheet and in the lead again?
We initially talked about the structure about 10 minutes ago and how they weren't really holding their form very well. He's used two of his substitutions. One in the first half, unfortunately, forced his hand when Guy Ben had to come in for his injured midfielder, Oscar Umar. And I don't mind the sub with Kyle Gregg. Even if Kyle Gregg was coming in for a healthy Caleb Calvert, gives you a bit of life up top, your ability to push the press, which they've been lacking here in the second half. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go to his bench a third time. Now, they don't have Rivas like they did last week, but you still have talent in the likes of Austin Martz and Audie Jepson. Most assuredly, it would be a sub for Audie Jepson, who could provide some relief for Cicerone on the left-hand side and some quick legs. Kadeem Dakers still has a lot of energy in him, but Cicerone has seemed to have faded a bit, and you'd like to see a spark here to really get them going in the final 12 minutes.
Tejada with the pressure. Hamdan Feo out of the back for St. Louis. See Anthony Pulis looking to get them back underway quickly. Steinberger returned out of the back. Mike Kavita. And again, that's just what we've seen a lot of this match, just bouncing around in the midfield back and forth.
There's no true ebb and flow, is there? Everything seems to be up and down, and Doesn't help that the referee, whether you agree with it or not, sometimes has had to step in with his whistle. Other times probably should have let him play. And there's just no true structure to the second half, much like St. Louis's shape. Just 11 minutes to go. The visitors really finding a way to keep St. Louis on their heels.
And then Feo out of the back. Deke was there. Carl Gregg getting involved up top. But now the Rowdies looking to pick up the possession. Fernandez combines with Richards at the back. Dekite all the way home to his goalkeeper, John McCarthy. It's a good ball up top. Openo is there. Feeds one out wide to Tejada. Tejada looking to cut inside, just a misread ball into the box. Really could have been a chance. Just fighting back. Too much pressure, says the referee, and another stop in the play. See Juan Tejada there from Panama in his first season with Tampa, like we mentioned. If you're just joining us, made his way on as a substitute. A real energizer up top.
And it's the first time we've seen him outside on the right. A lot of times they've used him as the lone man or just alongside the likes of Brandon Allen or Guenzati. This time, Neil Collins letting him play a bit more of a defensive role. He needed some help.
Cicerone, some great trickery to deliver a ball into the box. And here's Guenzati. There's a good ball through for Openo. He hasn't got anyone with him, so he'll just hold up the play. Seba makes his way up. Out wide to Tejada, who's put some grass under his legs already so far after coming in as a substitute, been all over the pitch in this afternoon's match. Back to Murad. Steinberger. Trying to find the space to work a ball into the box. Up to Ekra. Oduro's there. Now Jon Ekra has a bit of space. Opts to go out wide. Fernandez this time with the delivery, and well read out of the back by Jake Fenderson.
That was the best series of possession we saw from the Rowdies all game, though. Patience. Saw a bit of the boys being clever as well. Juan Tejada, as young as he is, plays well beyond his years. He was smart enough to understand that even though the Rowdies were threatening,
Deke was there causing some havoc at the other end. No worries for McCarthy, who's forced off his line.
He didn't necessarily have the link-up play, and that's where you see the ball come back in. Jon Ekra willing to wait for Fernandez to progress down the left-hand side, sprays it over there, and they eventually make it back into the box. Fenderson collects, but it's definitely been better for the visitors on the road here in the second half.
Ekra battling in the middle. Right under Ismir Pekmik's nose as he puts air to the whistle once again. We're approaching just 7 minutes left to play. What's been your thoughts so far, Devon?
St. Louis is hanging. You can feel the Rowdies. They were slowly finding form in this match, and you can see them building and building. And then after the penalty, it's been all them. St. Louis is stuck in their own half. There's Jon Ekra coming in late. He's not a malicious player, but still gets the foul either way. And they're just really, they're struggling. They're out of sorts. And we saw this last year a lot, but have not so far in their first 2 matches. This is a good test of their character. What are they able to do at home? They've lost all the momentum, and the Rowdies are just applying such high pressure. All of the substitutes Neil Collins has brought in have allowed them to really test the back line and the midfield of St. Louis FC.
Here's a bend. And you can see there, just as to your point, the possession, Rowdies leading with 65%. Camden Feo into the PK spot. Not nodded away. Now to the top of the box. The pressure is there. Steinberger opts to work it out the back. Guenzotti for Tejada. Tejada, lofty ball forward. You can see Guenzotti just putting up his hand there.
Hopino can't believe he didn't play this ball down into the channel. He had loads of room as Fenwell Convita did not pick up the overlapping run. Really troublesome for St. Louis, just hanging by a thread.
We're hearing there's going to be another substitution for Anthony Pulis. Hearing it's going to be Jepson's coming, but Waller wait, confirmation. Ekra looking for the challenge. Guenzotti dropping back deep to help defend. Fernandez looking to get the long ball up, but blocked, and Caleb Richards out of the back. And there we see confirmation of that substitution. And in comes Jepson. And Dakers makes his way out. That'll be the end of his afternoon, and he's had a pretty good game today.
High activity for sure, and really causing some frustration for Leo Fernandez. And now Caleb Richards hasn't allowed them to progress, at least to what they're used to in the past, down as far as they'd like. I believe Jepsy will probably shift over to the left and Cicerone over to the right. That seems to be the counterbalance. Saudi Jepson has a great left foot.
That last St. Louis substitution brought to you by Cigna. As we approach the final 4 minutes of tonight's match, this afternoon's match, rather.
With the overcasting weather, it could be tonight, couldn't it? Just a little bit bleak, 60 degrees. Beautiful footballing weather, but still a bit dismal.
Chilly conditions in Fenton, Missouri. There's McCarthy. And he looks to be in a bit of pain below. We're hearing there's going to be another substitution. Let's have a look who this will be.
Neil Collins might hold off for a second to make sure his goalkeeper's okay as he tells him, get out of here. I'm good, go. Take my odds, not the shirt. Poor John McCarthy. Struggling right now. Took a boot to the midsection and just trying to find his way back. Doesn't want to waste the precious moments of what has to be on the road. Looking to steal 3 points if they can.
And McCarthy just taking his time to get up there. It's going to be Leon Taylor to make his way in for the remainder of tonight's match. And there's confirmation of that presented by Singer. Sebastian Guenzotti to make his way off the pitch, the goal scorer for Neil Collins' side after slotting home the penalty. And you've got to say, a fantastic match for Sebastian Guenzotti.
Neil Collins isn't necessarily going to be happy that his striker up top has scored 2 goals this season from the penalty mark. He'd love to see something in the run of play, but he'll take them either way. Good PK here. Just right in the upper corner. Bit of pace behind it. Kept Fenlison guessing. Not quick enough. And the Uruguayan will exit the match. Has to be happy with his efforts so far. Remember, even if they can't get 3 points, they've done well on the road. So many years in the past, they just could not do anything. And from your first 3 matches, even if you only get 7, you get 4 on the road. That's a big victory for them.
And on comes Leon Taylor. Only played 2 minutes so far in this 2019 season. On track to do about the same again. He's in his 2nd season with the Rowdies. Started 6 of the 12 games he appeared in. Scored 4 goals in those 12 games, though. Was playing overseas in Sweden prior to joining the Rowdies. Here we go. St. Louis looking to build up and generate a couple more attacks in this last 2 minutes of regulation. Lofty ball over the box. And McCarthy to safety. Well, Devon, it's about that time when we start talking about the man of the match for this afternoon's match. And who have you got in mind?
Oh, there's a couple characters that you would initially like to say Fenlison, but towards the latter portion of the game, he has been a bit questionable. Cicerone has faded in and out, not the best from him. Kadeem Dakers was nice, but probably would have made the argument for Sam Fink had it not been for the handball. I like the look for Lewis Hilton. I think he's been the mainstay in the middle of the field, and if it were not for Oscar Umar's injury, it would have allowed him to show himself a bit on the offensive side of things. He's had to sit back a bit further, but Hilton really has been the one. He'd get my vote.
Completely agree with you. Lewis Hilton really the standout for St. Louis this afternoon. Been over every single dead ball and set piece opportunity. But right now, it's the Rowdies that have got a dead ball opportunity. Ekra is there to provide the short option. Keturan Tejada just hanging out on his own at the edge of the box. Here comes the delivery from Steinberger. Out wide to Tejada. Takes a touch inside, finds his way through to Hopeno. Across the back of the box, it's unorthodox from Dikite. And Fenlison opts to go short out of the back. Well, I'm hearing there's going to be 6 minutes of added on time tonight. Stoppage time is presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs. Well, 5 minutes added on in the first half, 6 minutes added on here. What do you think of that, Devon?
The first half, I couldn't believe it. The second half makes perfect sense. And the referee has been touch and go the entire second 45. Has not made it for a pleasurable viewing experience, and you can believe the players are frustrated with it as well. It's so difficult to get into a rhythm when everything is just start and stop.
Tonight's man of the match is presented by Pleats Cleaners.
At least Lewis Hilton. I got one right, didn't I? Pleats man of the match, Quality Dry Cleaning. Grateful for their services. I'm sure Juan Tejada from the Rowdies would like to take that up, as he's been dirty ever since he came on. Lewis Hilton has been so good, though. You know, we said who we thought it would be. It has to be him, not just from the set piece opportunities.
Here is a chance for St. Louis. We'll just get back to that man of the match in just a second. So Lewis Hilton, tonight's man of the match, as selected by our broadcast crew. Follow St. Louis FC on Twitter to vote in the Pleats man of the match fan poll.
One more opportunity in the closing minutes of this game for Lewis Hilton to show everything that we've given him praise for in this match and previous occurrences as well. One thing we haven't seen is have him have a go, but still a good chance. We've seen Fink and Kavita. Could it be again?
Hilton with the delivery in at the near post and away by the Rowdies. Again, another near post delivery from Hilton, making it very dangerous to defend. The Rowdies did well to get that one out. Again at the back post this time. No worries for John McCarthy, who was trying to jump to push his team to safety.
St. Louis gets real lucky here. Great IQ by Paris G to understand the threat. Love the tackle on the far touchline as this ball made its way back out. Initial challenge came. Looked like there was a guy at Ben siding, and then he just puts one back into the mixer. Yep, Albert Dikwa on the back post. Sam Fink trailing in support. John McCarthy not sure as to whether or not he had that covered. Dikwa unlucky, couldn't get it on frame.
Another fantastic delivery by your man of the match, Lewis Hilton. Very dangerous at the near post. Rowdies looking to get the ball into the attack. Turned over in the middle of the park. A bend. Trying to lead it into the middle of the park. Cicerone there. One to watch in the pre-game. The Michigan native started both games prior to this. 3 for 3 so far in games played in his first season with St. Louis. And again, another blow of the whistle.
Leon Taylor right over the back. Goes to ground and not agreeing. I'll just continue chewing that gum, Leon.
Tejada trying to slow the ball down there at the expense of potentially getting a yellow card. The referee is just going to bring out his magic spray. Lewis Hilton lines up once again over the dead ball.
If at any point in time I decide that I want a side job, Poppy, just let me know that I could probably become a referee. I'm pretty sure that I could go get my certification and get it done. It's been very poor from him today.
Hilton, lofty ball into the box. The head is there, not too much power behind it. And McCarthy to bring it down for the Rowdies. See several defenders getting on the end of Lewis Hilton's deliveries today that have been second to none, putting the Rowdies under a bit of pressure. And here we go at the opposite end of the pitch. Just over a minute left to play here in Fenton, Missouri. The Rowdies trying to break down St. Louis attack. Tejada out the back. And you can see this here, the St. Louligans still full of energy in the stadium around us. Is there time for another attack? A good ball across the box to the back post. And I tell you what, that was half a chance. What did you think of that one?
Sometimes half a chance is all you need. Cicerone shifts over to the right after the substitution. Great overlapping run by Paris G. Kyle bobbling his head in the wrong direction on his day. That's a no-no, my friend.
Oh, Greg, at the back post, we mentioned, if you just joined us now, it's his bobblehead night tonight. We just had a look at that earlier in the broadcast. Great positioning at the back post and a brilliant delivery in.
He missed the winner for sure, and they've still got a couple seconds here, but they've got to move fast.
Here's St. Louis, and again, a good ball across the box. Return to the other end. The Rowdies desperate to break out. And here comes Lewis Hilton for potentially the last time this afternoon. Sam Fink making his way into the box along with Kavita. And it's going to be an outswinger from the far side. Lewis Hilton over the dead ball once again. And let's see where he knocks this one. A good ball in, the header's there. And what a save that is from John McCarthy to keep his side in it. And it looks like that's going to be all we see here from Fenton, Missouri. The Tampa Bay Rowdies and St. Louis will split points. Devin, your thoughts on the match?
If you're Anthony Pulis, you should be frustrated, only because you had this match in your back pocket. And if it wasn't for the goal scorer in the 26th minute by Sam Fink and his unfortunate handball, Sebastian Guenzati would have not netted from the spot in the 76th minute. Tampa Bay Rowdies have to be happy on the road. Very happy with the fact that they're able to steal points. But either way, both remain unbeaten, both atop the Eastern Conference, with North Carolina not seeing action today. And they will look around the rest of the league, having then laid chase. Dalmodoro had to go. Good opportunity for the Rowdies to really make their presence felt in the Eastern Conference. But the boys in blue and green got it done once again. Both squads remain undefeated. St. Louis.
Leaving it for Lewis Hilton. Scored! And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
A year ago, local soccer fans had a chance to celebrate.
And for the first time in club history, St. Louis FC are into the postseason.
Tickets for St. Louis FC on sale now. You can be a part of the action.
And might that just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC into the Western Conference playoffs?
There's season tickets, single game, group, and flex tickets. Something for everyone with St. Louis FC. Support your local team. stlouisfc.com.
Welcome back to Fenton, Missouri. Edward Jones presents today's final score. Tampa Bay Rowdies 1, St. Louis FC 1. And well, Devin, you've got to say both teams had so many chances throughout this match. Let's take a look at some highlights from this afternoon's game.
No true quality in the final third from a finishing perspective, was there? And Feo in the early moments of this game, 6th minute. This was the chance by Caleb Calvert. If you're just joining us, where kind of makes something out of nothing, doesn't it? Kadeem Daker's active all day on the right side. First time coming into his left. Another one would come back out to his right, served a great ball to the back post and couldn't find it. But this was the goal. Lewis Hilton, he was the deciding factor all night long for the home squad. Loved the ball played in right at the top of the 6. Sam Fink goes to ground. Gwen Zadi, Tarek Morad, the two of them, when they got into defensive situations where they had to mark the big guy, they could not keep up with them. A couple half chances in the first half. This was Fernandez back across to Brandon Allen. And really a tale of two different halves for Tampa Bay Rowdies. First 45, they really had an opportunity to get 2 goals, could not do so. Brandon Allen got subbed out, and they brought on Juan Tejada. They brought on Tejada, and they moved him over to the right side. And when they did that, it really seemed to light a fire underneath things. Damo Duro wasn't the tactician we saw in the opening 2 matches. He really controlled pace of play against Memphis, as well as versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds at Al Lang Stadium. But still, the visitors behind 1-0 at half, come out in the second half. Guenzati started to become more active. They started to find the form a little bit. They grew into this game, and emotions started to run high. And this is where the goal comes. The ball comes to the back post. As it makes its way back around, keep an eye, number 4, Sam Fink. The ball comes off his head, and then right there, you can see it. Ball jumps up, comes off the left arm. Steinberger right next to him, right in front of the referee, points to the spot, and guess who? Captain Uruguay, Guenzati, went low last time, goes high this time. Fenlison can't make it 2 saves in a row. The visitors get even. That's how we would finish. And you know, you take a look at the possession. You don't understand what went on in the second half because possession was so lopsided for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They were able to come back. They carried almost 55% possession in the second, but that was up as high as almost 70. So St. Louis really falling off. You have to wonder if it's early season, kind of jitters, not really having enough energy behind them. Did they get enough fitness in? They struggled a bit. Neil Collins started to push the pace, but it was a good challenge for them. That's the biggest thing here. They showed character by not giving up a second goal. You remain unbeaten for both squads. A good challenge. Now what's up next? You got to go get some rest, recuperation, and then start prepping for the next game up.
2 captains on the score sheet tonight. 2 undefeated teams remain undefeated and take a point apiece from Fenton, Missouri. The final score tonight presented by Edward Jones. Tampa Bay Rowdies 1, St. Louis FC 1. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Devin Kerr, the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.